I was talking to somebody about how messed up Christmas is. Think about trying to explain to an alien how fucked up Christmas is.
Think about trying to explain to an alien how fucked up Christmas is. Think about trying to explain to an alien how fucked up Christmas is. Well, we go out, we find one of the hardier, more ancient of these types of species, and we kill it, and we hang up its corpse in our house, and we adorn it with festooned, sparkly bits, and then we get the things that we make, and we think other people will like, and we
hoard them and give them away and hide them under the
dead corpse until a certain day where we go through this ritualistic way of opening it. Oh, how do you get them under the tree? Well, there's this myth about this guy who sneaks into your house and defies the laws of physics. But you gotta give him cookies and milk or he won't. Cookies and milk.
Cookies and milk. Cookies and milk.
He makes all the toys with slaves and then we share them. So what's going on here?
Cut down the biggest tree corpse we can.
Drag its corpse back into the square and we skate around it.
I understand that Santa has this magical quality.
Magical quality.
Magical quality.
Magical quality. Santa.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Thunk Tank podcast. Thanks for downloading. This is our 2018 year in review. It's been about a year since the podcast launched, and we did a year in review last year, so we had to do one for 2018. It was a pretty fucking weird year, I think. Kind of feels like we're in some sort of simulation where people are just dialing up the weirdness and trying to see when we start to notice. So we got into all of that stuff, Donald Trump, Christmas, dead corpse Christmas trees, all that kind of stuff. So this is 2018. Hope you enjoy it. Please consider, if you like the podcast, supporting us on Patreon. It does cost money to host this podcast, so I just paid for the full year for 2019. So you'll have us for one more year, but hopefully we can get some of that money back. If you go to patreon.com/thunktankpodcast, I think you can donate as little as $1 an episode, and that helps us keep the lights on. Keep the lights on. We do have a website you can check out. We have blog posts that accompany some of the episodes, so that's all in the episode links. All right, hope you enjoy 2018 year in review, and Happy New Year.
Attention humans, this is a Thunk Tank. Please insert this podcast directly into your nearest orifice for viewing pleasure.
Okay, you ready? Oh, shit.
Welcome to the Thunk Tank. Welcome to the Thunk Tank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Come into our Thunk Tank.
Luke, don't switch to the other peanuts.
Welcome to the Thunk Tank. Come in the tank. We're thinking, and we're drinking,
and we're thunked.
Oh my god, I'm probably more beer than man if we go far enough back at this point.
We.
Bum-ba-dum-bum-bum.
Last podcast of 2018. Welcome to Thunk Tank.
You sound so tired.
I'm really tired. I drove so much
It's been
yesterday.
a long
from
year.
Massachusetts.
It's been a
day after Christmas.
long 2018.
Drove back to Long Island.
That's how you round out 2018.
Miserable.
Oh my god, this is dark. Hey, well, welcome everybody to our end of the year 2018 Thunkaganza.
I don't want to fake it. I don't want to muster.
I'm not faking it. I'm having a great time. I'm pounding through this coffee as much as I can.
Yeah, this is a coffee cast. We haven't done that one in about a year.
Yeah.
What's the purpose to it all, guys? I'm just gonna lay down here.
Did you see that?
You guys go ahead.
Somebody wrote a tweet. Jordan Peterson tweeted something like, my
boy.
book, 12 Rules of Life, is doing really well, blah, blah, blah. And someone tweeted at him and said, I read your book. It didn't help. I still feel like I have nothing to offer the world, and the world has nothing to offer me, just meaninglessness. And he replied, he's like, well, I hope you get better. like if my 500-page book didn't convince you, I'm not going to do it in a tweet. Like,
Yeah, what was the alternative? Like, did you want a refund? It's like, actually, now I do feel better.
That's the problem with tweet. Like, you can't get really into specific gripes.
well, you have they upped it to 240 characters now on Twitter.
Still not enough.
When did Twitter
Amazingly.
start?
2006.
2006.
I
I
don't know
keep
if that's
waiting
true.
for it to die like Friendster or
I think you might have to.
You're
right?
waiting for that to die. Wait for Facebook to die. How has that not died?
I think Facebook
Man.
might die first.
It's older and lamer.
Twitter is just clearly causing a lot of problems, so we might have to figure that out as a society.
But Twitter also has, with all these social media networks, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they've in some aspects have been not hijacked by, but they've been capitalized on by businesses. I mean, I can't think of a major or small business that either doesn't have all of those, like accounts for all of those, or at least for one of them.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like for whatever promotional marketing.
I mean, you can't really be a
outreach.
successful business without understanding how online advertising and social media.
Yeah, or at least being, even if it's not, you just own a store or a restaurant or something where social media isn't part of,
And most
the
of
service
it-
you provide isn't an online service. Yeah, you still need to be in it.
Yeah.
You still need to get how it works.
Most
and use
of
it.
social media, like professional social media, I think is a big scam, money grab, advertising.
SEO, all
Sham.
that shit. Yeah.
To be honest,
Wait, what's
like,
SEO? What do you mean?
Search engine optimization.
Oh yeah, that's really
Yeah,
sketchy.
that too.
Yeah,
Like, how do you
But,
get
like-
your Twitter or your website to show up first on Google?
Yeah.
By hacking
That's how
it?
Yelp works too. Like if you are a business, Yelp will be like, "Hey, you want to make a business account with us?"
Yeah.
It helps you. I forget what the term they use. Not clear, but like, mediate or help. We help clear up. Like I don't know the phrase, but
Well,
they help with bad reviews. Basically, you can appeal them, and they'll pull. You're just paying them to pull down negative.
but now you're
reviews
paying.
on you
Yeah, you're paying for
and boost positive.
Yeah, you're
And
paying
it's not
for
really
stuff that-
reviews anymore.
Yeah, it's like that's not my business. Is like I'm trying to run a business or something like that. But it's weird too because I get even for my Facebook beach clean page, which is just a weird.
Which, by the way, folks, I officially beach clean one day.
Luke is officially better than all
don't
of you.
believe it.
I'm better than all of you.
Who has not come out to join us yet. But even that, which is just kind
It's
of
not fair. I've lived 400 miles from a beach.
because we're better than you.
So
I don't know what to
go
tell you.
clean something else.
Go clean the toilet. I don't
Yeah.
know what to tell you. Go
I did.
Go clean a lake. Find a lake.
You piece of shit. Another year
mopped
gone by and
yesterday.
another
But-
lazy,
but-
awful. Okay.
But Facebook will be like, oh, do you want to pay $30 to reach out to 2,536 more people? And I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
how do they know the number?
Because
Because they
it's-
know they're just going to blast it to their
Russian
newsfeed.
troll farms. Do you know
or
about
that
this?
the like farms.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
different
shady.
than Facebook advertising, though.
Really shady,
That's
though.
getting Facebook likes, whereas the Facebook advertising
Still
is
shady,
you
bro.
pay Facebook to force your ad onto other people's newsfeed.
Yeah.
And it says sponsored under it. You can
Right.
see that,
Johnny, go clean a lake.
Yeah, go to a lake.
I actually do give money to like a river keepers organization around here.
Oh, so
That's where we get our
so
drinking water
you're
from.
saying you don't have the time, so you pay others to do your dirty work?
Like a prostitute.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Basically,
just write
Wow.
a check. This
you
is
support
America.
prostitution.
Wow.
That's what you're saying.
Wow.
It's 2018, for God's sake.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not for myself, but yeah, I support legalizing it. I think it'd be better for the workers and the people.
oh, fair enough.
Patronizing.
We should make
Sure.
a TV show called like Libertarian versus SJW. Just watch.
And just throw them in a
when I
ring with
was
some
in-
brass knuckles in between them on the
Sure.
floor. You can scrap
when
over those or just go at each other.
Yeah, let's do it.
You're down?
Bare knuckle.
So what
Yeah,
coffee
no,
are we drinking?
Untapped works the same way too. Breweries have to pay to have an actual account with them.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
that's how they
really?
make
to
their
get
money.
your beers
Fair
at
enough.
it and be able to control how what the page is instead
crazy.
of just someone tagging a beer. You have to pay to do it. It's
to
a
have
big
some
scam.
control over the description and the pictures and all that shit.
Yeah, otherwise it's just people posting. Like the people post my homebrews like jokingly,
Right.
And
yeah, you
the
can
location
add
at
to
Johnny's
yourself, that's for
bar.
sure.
Like you can
That's
make up
interesting.
fake ones, but like I can't go in and change any of my info, or if something's labeled wrong, or you have to start an account with them.
And then they got you.
And then they got you.
Yeah, it happens. So you drinking coffee over there?
Me? No, I'm drinking green tea.
Ooh.
Oh, so he is
I go
better
to work.
than us, it
I work
turns out.
nights. I work nights now.
No, I'm a big fan, bro.
Now, so
I drink.
I
drink
can't
green
drink
tea.
coffee after 12, and you suckers really.
See, I'm
Really
the kind of
took your
guy
time.
I can have a shot of espresso at midnight,
Yeah.
like have a beer and then go to sleep at 1.
Yeah, I
A
do that
maniac,
as well.
Is that what you
during,
mean?
Yeah, mid-semester. But Johnny, I agree with you. After I have coffee in the morning, and then after that, green tea rest of the day. Or I try
Yeah,
to.
it's weird because I used to be able to smoke like cigarettes in bed and go right to sleep, which you would think that's a stimulant that would keep me up. But if I have coffee at 8 p.m.,
Yeah.
I'm up till 4 in the morning.
Yeah, coffee can have that effect. So we're drinking, I think, a Kenya.
Nice.
Yeah, from actually a local roaster. I guess I can give them a shout out, right?
Well, we got to talk about beer somewhat, even if we're not drinking,
roast.
right?
in down
South
south.
Shore of Long Island.
Yeah, Patchogue roast.
Oh,
Shout out to roast. Very
Hashtag
very good
roast.
beans. Yeah, they roast.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, for all of our local Long Island listeners who are into coffee, you know, all however many of you, I think they're in the room here, and or where Johnny is. Roast has they roast every.
Do you guys
Saturday,
move the camera? All I see is the coffee and your crotches.
Isn't that,
Yeah, that's where we pointed.
Can you guys just sit next to each other, or
what is the problem exactly?
I mean, I'm trying to stay focused here. I keep getting distracted. Oh, there we go.
Is that better? You can look at beautiful Luke.
I can see Luke at least. Yeah.
You can't see us both because of the way our studio is set up. We have so much space in our giant studio that it's very hard to get everybody fit into one angle. You know, we could bring out the multiple studio
Just get some mirrors.
cameras
A
that we have,
complicated
but
system of mirrors.
that would probably be ideal. But, you know, again, the studio, even as vast and glorious as it is limited in some ways. I mean, we have so many artifacts in our studio.
I
here.
wouldn't want it any other way.
I don't think we can have it any other way. So,
All right, so we have to talk about beer somewhat, though, because it's the thunk tank.
well, we can
Even
talk
though we're not
about
drinking any.
We can talk about beer of 2018. That might be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to tell you the last beer I made for 2018. I made
Beautiful.
2 days ago on Christmas. We did a homebrew. A buddy of mine came over, and we did a 50% wheat French saison, but we used a pack of like store-bought yeast. He had a jar of like homemade harvested yeast, which is never sketchy to show up at a friend's house with a bubbling mason jar. And then we had like a little bottle share with some like sours and bottle conditioned beers, and you know all the dregs in the bottom of those.
Yeah, the
We
dregs
just-
of beer society. I love them.
Yeah, so we just swirled those and dumped them into the fermenter too. So it's a weird looking beer. We'll see what happens.
You said it's a
I'm very
saison?
excited. Sure, most of the yeast is.
So when will it be
But-
ready?
I don't know.
Is that something
There's
that
some-
you just
there's
have to
some
keep an
Brett in
eye on
there.
it? And
Yeah. I sent pictures to the cast. We'll post those. But
Nice.
we're gonna get real weird in 2019 with beer making.
yeah,
I'm
let's
gonna
do
start-
it.
Yeah, we
I'm
got
gonna
to
harvest some yeast from my backyard this summer. I decided.
What does that
I'm
mean?
gonna get. There's yeast everywhere. I have
It's
a
just
peach
in the
tree
air.
or figs in the backyard. So,
But his
yeah,
backyard-
you can harvest it off of the fruit skins.
Really?
Uh huh.
How do you? When you say harvest, what does that mean?
Collect it and feed it the right nutrients and sugars.
No, I mean,
so
like,
that it grows
promote.
over other.
I want like a visceral graphic description of what you mean by harvest.
Oh, you take a bucket and you just put like a cheesecloth over it with simple sugars in it. You're not
okay.
you're not out there with a lasso. It's the scene
Yeah.
in Jurassic Park where the door slides out of the Jeep and he shoots the thing. No, it's
Okay.
harvesting is just a fun word for
Yeah,
it.
we can make like montage
Yeah, that's
videos
cool.
of brewing.
I think
yeah.
we should. Yeah.
I think so.
Like if you just take a bunch of raw footage, I'll figure out how to edit something together.
Yeah, we have the
Okay.
technology in our
I have
studio.
that raw
I
footage.
mean, I'll
will
send it over
on.
to our team
Yeah, send it over to
at
the
headquarters.
crew. Yeah, we'll send it to crew for post.
Oh, I thought you guys were the headquarters. Am I the headquarters?
I thought you were the headquarters. Wait, who's been doing all of our tweeting?
Who's been getting our
Excellent
mail?
question. Who has been
You
doing
don't
the
need
tweeting?
mail. Of course, you don't need mail.
It's funny. Every once in a while, I'll be on Twitter and I'll be like, "I didn't like that." Oh yeah, it's just an account. Like
Yeah.
it's not just any one person. But anyways, that's cool. So you don't know when that beer is going to be ready though.
No.
Kinda playing
Maybe
it by
end of the
beer?
month? End of the month? I don't know.
Nice.
So this
So
is
2018, let's talk about it. What went well? What went wrong?
Why are you
I
talking
wrote
like-
down some weird news
oh.
stories from 2018. We can get to those.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, maybe like why don't we start with general impressions of 2018?
Sure.
Like how do you feel? 20 seconds. How do you feel about 2018? Go now.
It was weird times. I'm still not quite sure how to process it, but I'm pretty sure that we, as a collective human group of people. Wow, I'm wasting my 20 seconds.
I
with
love
bullshit.
watching you try to condense your thoughts down into 20 seconds and then just saying words to say one word.
Okay, time. Luke, that's
Times
all you
are
got.
weird, and I think we ought to
Nope,
figure
nope.
some shit out.
You already. Your
Okay.
time's
There's my
out,
sum
Luke.
up.
We're done.
Okay.
Nope, you're done.
I would say I think it's been interesting in terms of there's been a lot of increased awareness. I think somewhat, in some senses, political. We've seen some of it. But I also think we've finally started to see some environmentally, too, which is kind of really cool.
With beach cleaning.
Like, share, and subscribe.
The number of Thunk Tank beach cleaners has doubled
Yeah.
in the last
Well,
In the
6
last
months.
week.
I think specifically, we've talked about this before on the podcast, like social media outrage and how that's such a popular thing and such a problem. But
The mob.
I feel like at least a little bit, like I don't think it's tipped yet, but I've started to finally see people have actual meaningful conversations and actual information about topics like environment and climate change, whereas before I mean, even stuff that I would agree with, I'd be like, this is mindlessly vague. You know, these are just kind of clickbaity things that people are getting their outrage fulfillment out of. And I just feel like there's more and more of a growing sense of the actual reality of, I think we're all going to die. Like, I think, like, what's happening.
You mean like just individually, or like if we keep this kind of behavior up?
Exactly. Like, if we keep this kind of behavior up, like, even among business leaders and those sorts who are realizing, well, you know, if I have to capitalize on saving the world, I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
And great. Yeah.
Well, as soon as the
ExxonMobil,
corporations
take
are like,
over.
hey, we can profit off of
Yeah.
solving global warming.
Right. Yeah.
So you guys are being way too optimistic, I think.
Oh, no.
let's hear Johnny.
2018 was a terrible year for just the climate in general. Things got worse. Oceans got warmer. But also, we totally gutted the Paris Agreement by just being like, nah. Like when America backs out of something, it causes a lot of people to be like, maybe not.
But don't you feel like
And
a
then
lot of
they
people
just-
realize that's bad? Like, I feel like
But they just had another big summit. I forget where, and they agreed to something. And all the experts are like, I mean, it was a nice gesture, but it's not. It's pointless. What they're doing is not enough. So they might. And we didn't get. The only thing we did was send a coal lobbyist to go.
Yeah, that was pretty insane.
And they laughed at him and yelled him down, and then they proceeded to pass 2 short measures. So the awareness is just coming too late.
Oh, I
seems.
agree with all of that, but I think the fact that it's final, like I think you're right.
Yeah, but if the house is on fire and now smoke's finally coming in the room, you're like, you know what? I think I'm turning this party around. People are starting to believe me. There's a fire. I think we'll be able to leave the house in another 10 minutes. It's too late by then. It's burning down.
I don't know if it's too late. I mean, I think you're going to have consequences of climate change regardless, but there still definitely is time to mitigate the absolute worst case scenarios. It's not a great timeline. It's not a great time frame. Like, even the best case scenario right now is not great, but the worst case scenario is still way worse. So it's not even like it's just a house on fire. It's more of just a bunch of little disasters in that, or big disasters in that.
If only it
It's
were
on
so
fire,
simple as
but
a
it's
house
also
on fire.
flooding, and there's a tornado about to hit it, and an earthquake. It's like because that's what climate change is. It's not. That was always the misconception of, oh, well, it's cold today. What? Global warming, I got a snowball in Congress.
Yeah, didn't the guy bring a snowball into the Senate
It's like, well,
floor?
no,
So-
yeah. It's obviously not, a switch that you turn on. There's all these other sorts of impacts. So
In the defense of people that would do something like bring a snowball in and say it's cold out, how is there global warming? I bet if you ask half of the people on the left or in the Democratic Party, like, explain to me how you know that global warming is happening or that climate change is real, they probably wouldn't have a real explanation either. So, like, people just tend to see it as, well, you've got your side, I've got my side.
Yep.
We both have, like, shitty reasons that we haven't
Have
really
you-
thought through.
Gone through the figures yourself.
Yeah,
poured through the data.
exactly.
Poured through the data? No? Do you have any idea? No? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people.
Well, that's like I was having a Christmas family conversation, and
that sounds like a political argument.
You know how dicey those can get. Well, it was actually with one of my family members who is probably more liberal than I am for sure, and he actually brought up the argument of, I forget what we were talking about. It was like politics related, but he mentioned something along the lines of, well, what you just said is exactly what people who deny climate change say, and it was kind of along those lines, I think, of, oh, well, have you actually looked at the data? And I was like, well, first of all, I can actually show you the data. Like, I'll show you.
Also, that's just a question. You're allowed to say that.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'll show you the research that actually, and the data that actually shows you. And second of all, yeah, it's this problem, you're right, of camping. We've talked about this on the podcast too, where even with something like climate change, you start to bring up issues of, because another one that the more well-informed climate deniers will say is, well, there's all these like little ice ages throughout history and dips and stuff. But then when you start getting into the actual details, you can say, well, yes, there's not just one factor in terms of the Earth's climate. There's all sorts of factors in terms of the Earth's like orbit and tilt and solar increase in solar radiation. Like it's a giant space bomb. Like, it's not one stable.
The government's been heating the planet because they know when Yosemite's volcano explodes, we're going to have a 14,000-year ice age. So we're going to need to pump the heat up a little bit to get ready for that.
I think it's pronounced Yosemite.
They won't tell you that. Sorry, I haven't done Conspiracy Johnny.
You should do Conspiracy Johnny. But that's another one. Yeah, historically, volcanic activity. That'll change the climate. But again, people aren't necessarily... I think maybe you're right, Johnny. Maybe I'm too optimistic. I would like to feel like there's more people now with things that, like we've talked about on the podcast, like the IDW, the intellectual dark web, where people, like I was saying, well, yeah, climate has changed throughout history, and it changes for various reasons, but you should still be able to isolate a reason like man-made factors and analyze that objectively in terms of how much that's contributing to that sort of change, which is different than just saying, well, obviously it's one way or the other, right?
I think it's just like a load-bearing issue, and we're past a tipping point. I saw a thing on Reddit the other day that really, really freaked me out. You remember that meme dance from, it was 2004, I think, and it was the Numa Numa guy.
Oh my God,
and it was some
Numa Numa.
Swedish song, and some fat kid going like this, pumping his arms, going Numa Numa, hey, Numa, and it was like one of the first internet like meme videos, because it's just this like chubby dude at his computer, like really like lip syncing hard to this song no one knew, but that was like 2004. And it says something like 26% of the world population has been born since then. So a quarter of the world has been born
post Numa
Numa. What have we accomplished in that time? Like, the time frame for getting stuff done with this thing.
Elon sent a car to Mars, bro.
Is getting much smaller.
Well, that was another.
Yeah, we should have had electric cars on the roads by the 90s, and the fact that in the past, almost 15 years, we've barely gotten high-end electric cars for rich people to have as toys. Like, we should have been there 30, 40 years ago. It should be hitting the consumer market now. They should be like buying a Ford Focus, but it's just not.
Hey, that's what I bought.
Yeah. Well, but I'm sure if you could find an electric car at that price, you would have gotten it. I would have loved to have
that'd
the
be pretty
quiet
boss.
purr of an electric car.
I bet you would have paid $100 more in your monthly payments for an electric car.
If it was $100 more, yeah.
Maybe not 1,000 because that's unreasonable, but 100, we're moving too slow. The corporate masters are going too slow.
I agree with all that, Johnny, but don't you feel like at the same time that this is why we're talking about this? Because we have to identify exactly what and why it's going too slow, and I think, like I said, I think it still hasn't reached a critical mass of awareness in terms of how these issues work and how to solve them.
How will it, though? They'll have to be flooding in a major city that...
Oh, that's already happening.
I know, but then it happens and it doesn't happen. Like, news stories get their little play and then they go away. This model
Houston was the best example.
Yeah, didn't a hurricane
because it was a bunch
of
rain. You could see it got so warm sitting over the Gulf, And then it dumped so much rain, and they even said, the experts, the Army Corps of Engineers were like, normally the water would run off into the ground, but there's been so much construction in the last 20 years that there's there's so much concrete and everything. There's no permeability to the soil. So it's a perfect microcosm. They overdeveloped, they under-engineered, they didn't plan it, and now they're not prepared for when nature throws these storms. Which even Harvey wasn't really that bad, like historically. If one of those happens every, it was just big. But if that happens every 100 years, which is normal, if you
it'll happen way more than that.
Change, if it's happening every 100 years, 50 years, we're still not able to handle that. Yeah. So
I just feel like you got to try to do something.
But I feel like there's so many things that we've reached an awareness with, and people are like, yeah, but we don't really have. Yeah, you're not going to make us do it. You know.
I think.
All right.
So, Joe, what you were saying...
Fine, it's over.
I'm just very pessimistic.
Yeah, you're right. It's over.
You were saying...
All right, thank you for joining us this year. I hope you all burn in hell, and we'll see you then.
I'm camping in a very negative viewpoint right now.
I'm just saying as a counter to that, Johnny, because I do agree with all of what you're both saying, that I think, again, that's why more needs to be done in terms of just normal people in general, like actually looking into detail about these things, because
we can't wait for someone to tell us what to do.
Yeah, and that's the true power of the internet that hasn't been untapped yet. It's still being so misused right now, and I think it's been a learning curve for humanity.
It's pretty new.
It's very in the
10
course
years?
of the course of humanity,
of like social media and like
really
smartphones and all that shit,
and really being able to like have proliferation of real information from the masses,
and not going like doo 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 doo. You've got mail, you know, like
see all of our post Numa listeners don't know that reference.
They don't know what that is. That's a noise their weird uncle makes.
So I'm just saying is,
Mom, I want to go online. Can I use the internet? Like, because it would block your phone calls.
Get off the damn phone! I need to check something. Check my freaking emails. Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah,
I mean that's not how I asked to go on the internet, but
well, it was angrier times.
Oh yeah, no, that was an angry parent.
So
you used to tie up the home phone. You'd want to call somebody after school, a friend or a girl or something, and you had to be in a spot where you had privacy, but you wanted to make sure that they couldn't hear. So
what?
That was like a thing. Like, oh, I want to talk to my friends, but like I don't want my parents listening, so I'll sit in my room because I don't want them to hear me with the phone. But I'll keep my door open so I can see if they walk into the kitchen where the other phone is, because they might pick it up and start eavesdropping.
You should have written the textbook on the internet.
You
man.
Hear breathing on the line. You're like, wait. Yeah,
you hear that click, and you're like, hold on. Hello.
Yeah.
And it's like there? Now they just get everything.
So
fair enough.
The thing you were saying, Joe, about just having a political conversation and camping and decamping, we talked about in the IDW episode.
Yeah,
you could call that like the psychological term is called metacognition.
Yes,
it's the ability to see your thoughts from a different place.
We talk about that
and,
actually.
Kind of play with it. Be like, okay, if I thought this, then this.
We talk about that in my writing classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I sent you guys the article. Maybe I'll post it in this episode. But it was a new study that came out that said there was a strong correlation between radical political views and poor metacognition ability.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah.
I read that.
It makes sense on a pretty primary
intuitive level for me. Yeah,
level of you're extreme in this regard.
Yeah,
that came up earlier this year. Speaking of 2018, where I forget what episode it was, but I think we were talking about ghosts or religion or something, and I pointed out how I have friends who are very religious who I'm closer to than some of my friends who agree more with me and my spiritual views, just because my very religious friends are more open-minded to what other people think and why other people think what they think.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, that metacognition we're more in sync on, which to me is much more important.
The birth of a good conversation.
I agree. I have much better conversations with them.
Hey, I can be flexible.
Yeah, exactly.
And more interesting conversations. Like, I'm not 100% sure that I'm not in a tank right now, and this is all a simulation.
I mean, you're literally in a thunk tank, but go on.
Of course.
Well, he's literally, figuratively, literally in a thunk tank? Yeah, I guess so.
Figuratively.
Yeah.
I'm not even confident that this reality is real, so I can't have such self-confidence in worldviews about things.
Yeah. Like when people say the question to me like, oh, are you sure about that? I'm like, well, I mean, what do you mean? Like, I'm not even sure that I'm real. So like,
I'm not even sure if I had a bagel or a donut
Am
for
I sure
breakfast.
I know it's a normal response, and I do it to people, but I hate when you tell them something that's not even that unbelievable, and they go, "Really?"
yeah.
And then they don't say anything else. I want to be like, "Nope,
No, I
you were
lied.
right. It was a lie.
Yeah.
It was all a big lie. I
Oh,
just I have a
get
problem.
out of here!
Sorry."
It's like
what?
why? I just said a very simple thing that I think.
Yeah. Just said it.
People go, "You got to be kidding me!" And I go, "No." I won't give them anything else. I'll just be like, "No." And then they're waiting for more, and I'm like, "You asked a question. There you go." I hate that though.
Checks out.
Yeah, no, I do too. It's what I call shell conversation. A lot of people do the act of a conversation by just saying like the things you would say, like, "Oh,
And
what time is that
yeah.
at?" Oh,
you can
how
feel that
amazing.
pretty quickly, right?
What's really
Yeah.
annoying
Yeah.
is
It's
when my
mirroring.
wife
People
does
just
it
mirror
to
you.
me.
Yeah.
Like here, I'll do it to you, Joe. Like just, how was Christmas, Joe?
Oh, it's great. How was yours?
Oh, it was great. Yeah. Christmas is
How was
great.
yours?
It's so great to see your family, right?
No.
Oh, well, I mean, family can be tough, right? Yeah, totally.
I'm trying to throw him a I'm trying to throw him a
You're not making
curveball.
my mirroring easy.
I know. Well, I want to see.
Joe, I love
What?
2 lines into the improv. You're just like, no, no.
Yeah, improv is all about saying yes and Joe's just like, no.
No.
Nope. Not
Wah,
even
wah.
no and, just no. Not my
Nope.
thing.
Damn, don't agree.
Like,
But yeah, my wife will do that to me. And my wife, she'll
she makes sexy.
she'll be like, she'll tell me to do something, that I need to do around the house, like fix something, or, I'm supposed to wash something or something. And she'll be like, "Oh, did you do the thing?" I'm like, "Oh, I couldn't. The sink was clogged," or, "I couldn't. The lawnmower was broken." She'll go, "Really?" It's like, what, you think I fucking lied about it? Like, I'm making it up? Go check for yourself if you don't believe me. I'm not going to argue my case.
Or
Like I said, I didn't-
did you break the lawnmower like preemptively, knowing you're going to use that as a lie?
Yeah, also the axe is broken. The axe handle snapped.
Because you were shoving up the lawnmower to break both, right?
Yeah. No, and it's that kind of thing. It's just she's distracted and she's like, "Oh, really? Huh? Yeah, okay." And it's like, what do you expect me to say here? I hate that when you realize you're the only one.
Isn't that kind of
having
like?
a
I don't think cognitive dissonance is the right word, but isn't that sort of along those lines of that conflicts with what she wants, which is for the lawn to be mowed, and that's now an obstacle in the way of that. That like you would question that. You would say, "Oh, really?" Like, so the lawn is she? My question is she asking, is the lawnmower really broken, or is the lawn not mowed?
Either way, it's questioning my view of reality that I presented to her. And it offends me on a weird level.
In
that I
all
can't
fairness, you're
explain.
talking about tanks and shit, dude. Like,
It's just one of those things that really irks me.
all right, so Joe,
Yes.
somebody goes, we're fucked. 2018 was fucked. Look what's going on in the White House. Look how we're destroying ourselves on social media, political
I wanna see
polarization.
I want to see what's going on.
blah
in the
blah
White
blah
House.
blah blah. Why should I have any hope for 2019?
I thought I just went over that. Well, I really, I mean, I honestly do think that there has been a learning curve with a few things. Like, I think internet usage is probably the most important, and it's the biggest one. And again, I don't think it's there quite yet. But I think to some degree with politics as well, I sort of feel the same way, where just the fact that more people are talking, I still see a lot of the same issues in conversation and dialogue, like we've talked about, along the lines of metacognition or lack thereof. But I also, just talking to people, I've seen a lot of people come out of the woodworks in terms of how they feel about left versus right. And there's a lot more people than I realized, even from going back to 2016, that aren't happy with any of these choices.
Yeah.
And they're at least that's...
Like, they're pretty reasonably in the middle right now because
Exactly,
they're
yeah.
like, they look to their left and they're like, that's fucking crazy.
Well, they're tired of
they
both.
look to their right
Yeah.
and they say that's crazy.
Yeah, I think they're tired of both,
So,
honestly.
So that's a grouping. That's still a grouping by exclusion. Like, how many people are really starting to learn about these events or these issues, or they're just like, wait, what is that side saying and what's that side saying? Well, I don't know what they're talking about, but I know I'm not for either of those, so I guess I'm in the middle. Like, it's
Yeah.
just
Almost
like
a default move.
a grouping by default, and that's a start, but that's not enough. You need people to actually.
Well, I think the
build
problem is
center.
that there's so much. There's just so much too to really try to understand, and so many people are so. I think that's a huge part of the problem is that so many people are really busy. Like I know so many people who work multiple jobs who are just tired all the time.
That's why
they don't have time to understand how they don't have time to understand how healthcare works. Who has time to figure that out?
They have time if they're sick and they have to go to the doctor. That's all. And then otherwise you can't really think about it. Never mind think about it with 350 million people in mind.
Yeah.
What is that number? I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's a lot.
I know what 300 people look like. I roughly know what 3,000, and I can picture Yankee Stadium to get into 50,000.
Well, how many
number? But that's about all I can.
How many
do.
Yankee Stadiums worth of people are there in this country?
So it would be what 350
It would be math
million
is what it would
divided
be.
by what is Yankee Stadium?
Johnny, can you run those numbers for us?
Sure.
He's just gonna tap some nothing and then just tell us
350 million. He's looking at it how do I type 350?
Whereas our brains evolved to deal with
divided by 50,000,
200 people. I think human beings can be quite good at the level of 200 people where we're all keeping each other. Keeping on top of each other's responsibilities and making sure people do what the hell they're supposed to do. And Johnny, if we were in a tribe of 200 people and you're not walking your shit bucket all the way to the woods and you're dumping it in the local stream that we use to do our laundry, I'd be like, Johnny, what the fuck? And then I'd go tell the elder council about what you're doing.
But that's the problem with a globalized economy without a globalized awareness, which is why I feel like it's so important to think of it that way, because that's the problem with combating climate change, where people on a local level say, what do you mean I have to pay more to offset carbon? I don't have that kind of money.
At the same time, you have
fair
evil
enough.
people like Putin, where you're well, we don't want to die from that either. So we have to have a pretty strong country.
I have a whole conspiracy
about
I have a whole conspiracy about how Russia is very pro global warming.
I mean, they're pro chaos, I think.
Well, they live in Russia.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they want the climate to get warmer?
But also, they don't give a shit. I can't see how someone like
Think
Putin
about it.
has a personal morality, right?
I've never met the guy.
He's playing a game, and he got really
he definitely
good
has
at
a personal
game.
morality.
By the way,
Russia
for
first.
himself, yeah.
By the way, you would need 7,000 Yankee stadiums to house the entire population in the United States. So just imagine 7,000 Yankee stadiums laid out next to each other in a long line.
I can't imagine 7,000 of something in a row. I can imagine 10 maybe, in my mind's eye.
So that times 700. 700
Now,
of those lines of 10 filled with people.
And how many people pass through JFK Airport every day?
Probably a few.
How many of them wear sandals and
I'm going
sweatpants on a plane, huh?
I'm going tomorrow, so I'll let you know. I'll be at JFK tomorrow.
Yeah.
How many of them
I'll count.
Arby's?
I'll take a count.
Get
How
there
many of them
early.
eat?
Get there early,
How many of them
man.
eat Arby's on a 50-seat flight right next to me?
How many?
They're not allowed in my Yankee Stadium.
Dude, I hate when
Sorry.
people bring smelly fast food onto a plane. It's go fuck yourself.
It's the worst. It's great. You know that stale fast food smell when you get in your car 4 hours later?
Yeah.
I get that all day now in my flight. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a reason why they don't sell Indian food in airports.
So you're telling me that most
too
people are a lot of people are defaulting to this centrist kind of reasonableness because the polls are getting extreme?
I don't know if most people, but there's definitely more.
I've noticed more people.
There's definitely more than in the beginning of 2018.
If you probe them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I was
think
at
so.
a church gig and I was talking to some people,
Which I think is good.
and we were all walking very gently, trying to see if what our political views are.
Yeah.
And then at some point, some guy said something against Trump. He's like, "I hope I don't,
Smash down
alienate
the wall."
any of you guys." I was like, "Oh, so why would you whatever political views I might have? Certainly we can all agree that this man is an idiot. The positions, the politics, the
not
being
even
against
politically.
Clinton and all that stuff. That's in a different house in my mind than
Did you hear
Trump
what
being an idiot.
Did you hear what he said? It said to the 7-year-old about Christmas.
Oh, I saw a headline, but I didn't click it. What did he say?
So you don't still believe in Santa, do you?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I mean, look. What are your views on Santa?
It doesn't matter. He's just a dick.
I know you.
That's why
do
Dan
that to a
Rather
kid,
tweeted out, which is more marginal, a 7-year-old believing in Santa or a 72-year-old not believing in climate change. And I was like, boom.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Rather.
That's a really good point.
It's a decent point. But Santa's dumber. I think
I would never teach my children that
I wouldn't
Santa is
either.
real.
I really think that's a stupid
I would
thing.
teach them that I am your Santa, so you better do what I say.
Worship me
gifts.
as your false idol.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, exactly. Thank you, Johnny. Johnny gets me.
I was talking to somebody about how messed up Christmas is and how like it's one of the many reasons the aliens are watching us but don't openly like identify themselves.
It's mostly
because it's like, oh, what is this? It's like, well, you guys have celebrations and festivals on your planets, like celebrations of life and being here and all that. They're like, yeah, sure. What's your version? Every species does that. It's like, okay, well, one of our bigger ones. We have a few, but this is the big one. A lot of people do. We celebrate this guy who we think was God's son who died a few thousand. Wait, what? Yeah, no, don't worry about it. He died a few thousand years ago. Oh, so like you like read about him or something, or like try to emulate him? Well, some people do, but that's not what most people do. We build these big houses out of trees, dead trees. What are trees? Oh, organisms we kill.
Oh, they're other living things. Yeah.
Johnny's like a talking Kurt Vonnegut novel right now. This is amazing.
I'm going to keep going here.
All right.
So it's like, all right, that's kind of weird. You live in tree corpses, but okay, I guess your planet has.
Oh, you keep them watered. That's nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you guys have liquid water and gas in your atmosphere. Weird to begin with.
Oh, one of those liquid-based life forms. That's quaint.
Yeah. So they go, all right, so how do you celebrate this? He goes, well, we go out, we find one of the hardier, more ancient of these types of species, and we kill it. And we hang up its corpse in our house, and we adorn it with festooned, sparkly bits, and then we get things
trash
that we make, and we think other people will like, and we hoard them and give them away and hide them under the dead corpse until a certain day where we go through this ritualistic way of opening it. Oh, how do you get them under the tree? Well, there's this myth about this guy who sneaks into your house and defies the laws of physics, but you got to give him cookies and milk, or he won't.
Oh, is that the guy who died 2,000 years ago? No relation whatsoever.
Totally different guy. This is an old fat guy. This guy actually, he liked soda.
How does he make all the toys that he brings? Yes. Oh, they got little guys.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of little guys. What do you mean? Like slaves? You guys got slaves? Okay, we know what slaves are. Yeah, so he makes all the toys with slaves, and then we share there. So what's going on here in this square? Oh, this is Rockefeller Center. So this is one of our concrete cities we built, which is just stone and rock everywhere. And then we go to a pristine part of the planet, cut down the biggest tree corpse we can, drag its corpse back into the square, and we skate around it. And
hey, I'm going to that tree right after we record this.
Are you skating?
And you're going to do this.
I'm not going to skate. I'm just going to look at it and be like, ooh, pretty. I heard it's dying already.
Metacognitively.
Oh, dude. I'm going to hit
metacognitively.
Think about trying to explain to an alien how fucked up Christmas is and be like, no, but come share your technology with us.
I'm going to inhale on a certain pen that I picked up in Massachusetts and then metacognitively look at the fucking tree and the Rockefeller Center and just kind of think about tree corpses.
Think about my words.
Yeah.
It's like, can you hear them screaming when you cut it down? It's like, we don't speak tree, so we don't really think about it.
It's like, wait, what? How long have you been murdering these things you can't communicate with? I don't know. How long have we existed?
They just kind of grow back.
Yeah, they predate us, so we figured let's eat them.
So I don't.
So you eat them too? Well, they're nuts sometimes that grow off of them. We'll eat their genitals, which is what fruit is. It's really weird if you start thinking about trees.
You're freaking me out, man. I love it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I understand that Santa has this magical quality and that it makes certain aspects of Christmas more exciting and all that for kids, but I just don't believe parents should be lying to their kids. And what I especially don't like is if you tell the one lie about Santa. I remember being a kid and asking questions like, well, does Santa build, like I said I wanted this thing from Toys R Us and it clearly came from Toys R Us. Does Santa build that? Or does Santa go shopping? Like,
I remember that. That was the time I asked my mom, like, so Santa made this? She's like, yeah. I'm like, why does it have the Lego copyright logo on it and a barcode?
Yeah, I think my mom told me like, he goes shopping for the things he can't build, and I was like, that's just another lie. You're how many lies deep to sustain Santa?
I'm actually all for lying to kids about Santa because I think it's what's led to atheism's growth so much in America.
Yeah, it's training.
You give them like a mini version of Christianity that they can eat, that you're basically setting up to when they get old enough. It's like, of course, it's not true.
It's like a way to prove to yourself that I'm capable of believing insane, stupid shit.
Yeah, I think that. And I kind of agree with that.
The answers you get about Santa are very similar to the kind of answers as a kid you get about like religion. It's
Right.
like, oh, well, how does he do this? Like, you just keep doing being
Miracles.
a kid and asking the why thing. They go, you just got to have faith. It just works out. Do you want to not get a present because asking questions disqualifies you? Like, it's all the same mind tricks that religious organizations
Yeah.
do.
Right.
So once you work through the Santa problem, most of the time it's teenagers start looking at religion. The whole this is bullshit.
I've switched course.
figure it
Gives you the model
I'm
for how to think about anything.
I realize I'm totally back on board on the Santa train because I was at a Christmas party a couple of weeks ago, and this wasted dude just came up to me and he says, "Hey, how you doing?"
Was he in a Santa outfit?
No, but he was wasted, and he just goes, "Are you a yoga guy?" And I said, "Why do you say that?" And he said, "You just look like a yoga guy." And I said, "Yeah, I'm actually a yogi." And he was like, "No way!" And I said, "Yeah, I just got back from Nepal. I was there 6 months, and on. How I stayed where the Dalai Lama was born, and I met
His Holiness.
and I just started going to this whole thing about how I met
Darjeeling Limited.
these opium land pirates, and he was like, "Whoa, that's great! You should write a book about this." And he's going on, and then I was just kind of playing that game where it's like, I think if I just say things convincingly enough, I can convince people of utter nonsense, and then eventually I got bored of it, and I just held up my finger and said, I have to go to the bathroom, and I just left. I think I said I have to poop, and I just left. And he was just like,
You didn't do the
"Whoa."
Elaine Bennett's where you just go, you go, huh?
Yeah.
What?
It's-
I gotta go. You pretend someone's calling your name
Venice,
that clearly
you
is.
jackass.
Or the Kevin Malone from The Office where he just goes, "I have to go to the bathroom,"
Yeah, I love that.
and runs out of the room with his hands on his ass.
They really dialed up Kevin to be just actually handicapped by the end of
his
The Office.
his dementia.
No, but he's also a genius because at one point you go, this thing that they call embezzling sounds a lot like what I do every day. And it's like, oh, he might have. And he was a genius when they started asking him math questions about cookies. They were like, what's 4,300 square root? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, all right, what's the square root of 4,500
In
cookies?
cookies,
And he
yeah.
throws it out immediately.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a genius on someone.
Yeah.
Also,
And his chili is
I think it
amazing.
was like this third to last episode,
Yeah.
something like that, where they're showing a lot more of the camera crew and reminding us that they've been part of the show. Kevin goes like, "Wait, you guys are filming us for a TV show?" He just kind of accepted reality. Was like, you get interviewed throughout the day to say what you think.
Yeah, they don't do that at your job.
Maybe we'll do that next year. We should do an Office deep dive.
I'm down.
That'd be cool.
I've been rewatching it a bit.
Yeah.
There are good parts about it, but
No, I think that
overall
the
it's a
internet
cool
theory-
show.
I think that's why it would be a good show because there's for what it was. There's some really good parts of it, but there's also it's like.
Jim and Pam annoy me.
It's still so
to no
TV,
end.
right? It's still
so
some
bullshit
episodes you're
in
like,
so
this
many
is so
ways, yeah.
television, yeah.
And right to the to the last season when they definitely jumped the shark.
Jim
Yeah.
definitely should have cheated on Pam, and then they get divorced. I would have respected that show.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially he takes a job in another city. Their marriage should have fallen apart.
Yeah, that would have been
it does
cool.
in real life. That's well, my career is important to me too. So
you just wanted it to turn into Mad Men.
A little bit, yeah. Mad Men's
But Luke, while you're rewatching it, consider this crazy. I think Reddit theory is that they're actually all in purgatory, and that's why nothing really changes from season to season. And the camera crew is actually like angels and demons, just keeping an eye on them and monitoring their progress. And that little thing that happens to them is really just little tests getting thrown at them. And the show goes on.
That's God, bro.
until. The show keeps going on
Until they
because
figure out their lessons each
because
one.
they keep being the same person. Dwight can't get over his stuffiness. Angela judges people. Kelly's shallow. Once they learn their lessons, they Michael Scott learns how to be a human, and he leaves.
How to be a real
you
boy.
can only get out of the show when you
I could
it's
see
a-
that.
It's a weird.
that's true. He does
crazy-
fly.
It's an insane theory.
He does fly away. He does ascend to the heavens.
Yeah, it is a sort of
Whoa.
when he leaves, it's he finally figured out he met Holly, right, and figured out how to not be a complete jackass all the time.
Yeah, me and Tommy were going back to the first few episodes the other day just to watch them, and even from then until the end of the show, when Michael Scott leaves, that show is he is an unerrable character on network television today.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they've been pushing
Speaking
for
of
a
outrage
reunion.
culture and SJW type stuff.
You would not be able to
Yeah.
show that on NBC today.
Yeah.
He
No
got
way.
really lucky as an actor. He finished like right before everything got real sensitive.
Yeah.
because people have been pushing for a reunion. Like even actors on the show.
Oh, they teased it on SNL.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
He said. He said in an interview after that, 'cause someone was like, "That was a funny thing, but would you ever do it?" He's like, "No, like that character belonged in a place and time." Like,
Yep,
he
I agree.
has done serious movies since then. I don't think he wants to go back to like
It's really-
what's seen as a racist, sexist character.
It's also a
Nope.
show about autism in a lot of ways. Like he's just kind of an autistic on the spectrum guy who like
more so than David Brent was.
David
I
Brent
think.
was just
Yeah,
like a little bit
different vibe, for
confused
sure.
and
He's just a
into
bad person.
He wanted to be like just liked by the cameras and just a little bit of a shitty person, but Michael Scott played the role as like genuinely not getting like basic social cues
There was something a little bit more redeeming about him.
about
The
Michael
big
Scott.
difference,
I think,
well, you
between
forgave
the
him
two
because you
is-
saw it as like a genuine weakness that he couldn't control it.
Yeah, exactly. It was more
David
innate.
Brent wanted to be cool, but Michael Scott already thought he was cool.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Like
Yeah.
David Brent was
Yeah.
so desperate in the attention and being
Yeah.
the cool guy that it was just so sad because he was so bad.
I
at it.
believed in
Whereas Michael Scott genuinely thinks he's a cool guy.
I believe
fun
in
guy.
I believe in Michael Scott's confidence much more than
This
David
is turning
Brent.
into our office episode.
Yeah.
I like.
Speaking of
Well,
2018,
speaking of shows in 2018, did you guys see the Kevin Spacey video he put out?
oh my god,
The day he gets indicted on
what
rape
the
charges.
hell
Now,
was
do you
that?
think that was a
Alright.
coincidence? Like that it
Let's
came out?
explain that.
I think it's
quickly,
over for
in
Kevin
case-
Spacey. Is
Yeah,
what I think.
should we play like a quick clip from it?
The fact that Joe
No.
Rogan wasn't willing to, or very
I think he
hesitant.
played it.
He played
No,
it for
I
like
just don't
30
want to
seconds.
promote the guy.
So, and I'll just explain it then.
Yeah, we
Kevin-
probably shouldn't throw
Kevin
him on the
Spacey
podcast.
on his own YouTube channel came out in character of Frank Underwood, which
weird.
is his character from House of Cards. If you haven't watched House of Cards, go watch like the first 3 seasons at least. It gets shittier as the seasons go on, and the last
Yeah.
season was probably the worst thing I've ever watched. I
Really?
finished it, but it was awful.
Was he in it?
No,
This is
no.
why-
They before they started filming was when all the accusations against him came out.
Right.
So they canned him, and
They killed his character off.
They canned the
off-screen,
writers, I
right?
think, that were writing that show too, like because they had already written a show with him in it, I guess.
Oh, so they wanted to like detach from that?
Yeah, and it was just awful. Like the last
Yeah.
season, just avoid watching it.
Spoiler alert.
But anyways, he released a video on his YouTube channel in character of Frank Underwood, making clear references to what's going on in real life, but also it could on the
But
surface
it
just
was-
apply to him as a character.
Yeah, it was like
It was
a weird.
so odd because it sounded like the character breaking the fourth wall
Yep.
as a character saying, "Hey, don't you guys want me back on the show?" But also at the same time, he's trying to be like, "Oh, it's not true. The real life stuff about the actor who plays me isn't true."
Yeah,
And it was just like you could tell he was trying to get like a social media
Yeah.
push to get him back on the air.
A little
It's like,
bit
how
that, yeah.
diluted is this guy?
It was a little bit also, though, he was trying to say, you know, not everything you would hear is true, and you wouldn't be quick to rush to judgment without actually finding out if it's true. And then he also kind of hinted at us, like, but you loved the character of Frank Underwood, and part of you loved it because you have part of that, like, desire for, like, evil in you, too.
here's the thing. I've
know?
never seen an episode of him. I've never seen an episode of that show, so I've never seen him acting
Oh,
as that
God.
character.
So then you
So that-
wouldn't even get the impact of it. It was insane to see that character back all of a sudden.
So to me, watching it as somebody who hasn't seen the show, it just came across as creepy as hell.
Okay, so that's his character.
If anything, it made me think like, oh, you just are that character. You're just a ruthless maniac of a person who's like, yeah, I raped people, but I'm a great actor. I should be allowed to. Like, you
That's
know what I
kind of the
mean?
vibe I got from listening.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to say
So
that.
the vibe I got was that as Frank Underwood, like if you were to just take that layer,
Yeah.
he's just saying like, yeah, they killed me off, but you didn't see me die, and it was. He was basically saying you missed me because the last season sucked.
But wasn't he like
and-
cutting food in a Christmas sweater too?
Yeah, but that's classic Frank Underwood. Like the whole
Oh,
show
God.
is about like
He'll be doing
it's like
something
a-
normal and wholesome while he does the fourth wall break and tells the camera,
Yes.
like, well, you know, that's why I had to kill that man.
So
Oh,
he
yeah,
breaks
that's
the
the
fourth
character.
wall in the show. That's the basis of the show, is
Okay.
that we
I
see
see.
how he talks to other people. So let's say I'm talking.
Oh, so
to Joe.
he's a Shakespearean.
Yes.
actor.
Joe, the opening scene is the opening episode was actually incredible.
Watch the
There's
opening
a dog,
one and you'll be hooked. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a quick spoiler, like his neighbor, he's doing like the speech thing, and the neighbor's dog gets hit by a car like in the street in the middle of the night, and he walks out and he's telling you about like, you know, you got to do the right thing even if it seems wrong, and he just puts the dog down with his bare hands in the street, and then he's like, oh yeah, the dog didn't make it. You want to go tell the neighbors? And snaps back to being like, you know, a heartfelt person
With his
and you're just
southern
like, whoa,
accent.
this is you're like, this might be a
Interesting.
cool
Okay.
show, but then it just kind of devolves from there.
I mean,
Yeah.
there were amazing moments where, like, I guess
But that
that's
was
a
the
very Shakespearean thing where he's saying one thing to a character, and it's almost like Malcolm in the Middle style,
Oh,
where
yeah,
Malcolm will
right.
look at the camera and say something real quick.
Yeah.
Except whenever he looks in the camera, he looks right at you in this really intense way.
Yeah.
And that contrast is so crazy. So he was
Yeah.
in the psychopath version of the character in that YouTube video.
For 2019, we should do a fourth wall episode, just all about the fourth wall,
Yeah.
and people smashing
like-
it.
Like, would you call The Office having a fourth wall? Because not really. The cameras are part of the story.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I guess.
But that's just a device to break the fourth wall for the storytelling.
Yeah, it's not
but
quite
the
because
cameramen are there. It's
you would
not like this. Like,
yeah, you would need the cameramen to turn to the cameramen. Because
But
even
see,
when you
they
see the
didn't
cameramen,
shade, actually, yeah.
there's other
Like
cameramen.
Parks and Recreation started off the same way as The Office did, with these little interviews,
Yep.
and so it seemed like a documentary, but then it went nowhere, and it just obviously became just a show. But they would still cut away to them talking to the camera. But be like, you know, some awkward scene set up, and they
Yeah.
cut away and she'd be like, yeah, that went on for 45 minutes. It's like, who are you talking to? It was, at least in The Office, they addressed it.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
a lot of times they just build it in because, like, well, people accept that with The Office.
Yeah,
format.
Parks and Rec, it didn't quite work,
And
so
they
they
just
just kind of
abandoned it,
yeah, they were just kind of like, we're just gonna do it when we're.
they're like, let's just
bored.
pretend we didn't do it, and
but-
most of the people won't even think about it. Probably they're like, oh,
and then-
something's on TV, yay!
It was a great show.
But that show, I like that show better than The Office.
Yeah, it was
I'm
fine.
sorry to
It
say.
was-
Oh, it's a good show. It's
it-
hilarious.
it-
I laugh at it.
Yeah, it was entertaining. I got what I came for.
So I just wrote this down, and I it's a good thought of just like summing up 2018 and like the news cycle and how things just happen and then we get over it. And,
Sweet.
and Trump. So Trump is the president of the United States.
Who?
He banged a
What?
porn star in 2006. His
right, I love
lawyer
this.
made a $130,000 hush payment. He got 3 years in jail for doing that, but we're over it. We're talking about a wall now.
Yep, that's Trump's
And
strategy.
Bill Clinton got a blowjob in the White House and got, well, I guess he got impeached for lying, but nevertheless,
He's a liar.
like the president of the United States paid off a porn actress to keep his affair like hushed.
What do the
How is that
evangelicals
just
say
not
about
running
this?
every day constantly until we actually go, this is crazy?
That's his strategy, dude. Noise.
Hyper-normalization.
Noise,
We talked
noise,
about it
noise.
in our last
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah.
Noise. But
He just scatter shots with the craziness, so it's so hard to pin him down
Yep.
on any one thing.
but I want to.
Hyper-normalization, Johnny, it's like what you just were saying with the Christmas trees. It's like, yeah, Christmas trees are normal because they're everywhere.
Yeah, we don't.
he
question,
endorsed a
like, chopping them
pedophile
down.
in the Georgia Senate race, remember?
Yeah.
Everyone forgot
The
about that,
president
too. The guy was
endorsed the
definitely
pedophile.
a pedophile. You get banned from the mall for harassing 14-year-olds, and you're a goddamn district attorney in your 30s. You're probably a pedophile, right?
I mean, yeah, certainly, like, even if you're just, like, saying sketchy words, I mean, like, to, like, 14-year-olds.
That's still,
that's
yeah,
fucked
I'm not,
up
I don't,
still.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it's not
No,
worthy of going to jail, but it's worthy of getting kicked out of a mall and not
Or
running
probably
for state
probably not
office.
having public office.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But
I
it-
meant to write down some of his better quotes from the year for this episode, but I
that's cool.
started, and it just upset me, and I couldn't get through them.
Do you have any?
I do. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
Okay.
Luke, keep going.
So I also did you see the former Russian spy that was murdered in the UK? And then Putin made like a comment after it, basically just like he's
Yeah.
just like a mob boss. He's like, yeah, if you turn on Russia, we kill you wherever you are.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even hide those things, you know?
Checks out.
Okay. I have sorry, Luke. I have it's a little
Don't kill
long,
me,
but
Putin. I support you.
it's a little long, but this is an actual thing he said.
I love how you call it thing. You're like, it's not quite a sentence, but
I guess it's a statement.
Few of them are.
it's a collection of words.
This was recent too. This was in July, so halfway through the year. He was talking to a crowd at some rally, and he was talking about Elton John records.
Elton.
Do you remember this
Yeah,
night?
I remember that. He kept calling him Elton, right? Like they're friends. Like him and Elton John are buddies.
I think he had a gift for the Korean president. It was a signed Elton John CD or something. His secretary was visiting, or someone asked about it. Anyways, this is his quote. He goes, "I've broken more Elton John records. He seems to have a lot of records. By the way, I don't have a musical instrument. I don't have a guitar or an organ. No organ. Elton John has an organ. And lots of other people helping. No, we've broken a lot of records. We've broken virtually every record because, look, I only need this space. They need much more room. For basketball, for hockey, and all of the sports, they need a lot of room. We don't need it. We have people in that space.
That's like what my
we
dreams
break
do.
all of these records. Hold on, it gets better. Really, we do it without, the musical instruments. This is the only musical instrument, the mouth. And hopefully the brain attached to the mouth, right? The brain. More important than the mouth is the brain. The brain is much more important. That goes into with the Federalist Papers and Washington's farewell address, and the
only thing we have to fear is fear itself, and
then that.
Yeah.
What is that though? If you were to
stuff.
deduce that down into one statement, it would be that our mouth makes the sounds, but it's our brain thinking that's the talking thing.
It's the brain.
I think what he meant to say was look at the impact I can have with just my words, and how entertaining I can be by just talking and shit stirring. Whereas
gods.
these guys, they have to write a hit song or have an amazing skill to draw an audience.
I see, yeah.
I can do it just by being me. But the way he says it is so disconnected and absurd. It's and this is a question I have for people I ask all the time now when they start arguing Trump. I don't even bring up politics. I just will bring up a quote like that and I'll be like, would you give him the keys to your car? Would you let him borrow your car right now? If he said, I got to go get some cigarettes, can I borrow your car? Would you be like, no, in fact, you should give me your keys. Do you even have a license?
Yeah.
They let you drive.
Do you know where you parked?
Yeah.
I know that's an ageist thing, but at some point, we all, everybody of a certain age has ran into that. Oh, I got to start making decisions for my parents.
Right.
If they live long enough. No person is ever going to be like, you know what, I think I'm ready to give up some of my autonomy.
Yeah, you can't draw that line for yourself
because I'm starting to slip a little. No one's ever going to say that. It's the metacognition thing that tends to
especially
slip
if
when you
that
get
shuts down,
Yeah, or that
Especially
starts
if you start
to get
out with a megalomaniac.
I mean, so one angle to look at Trump, if you're just besides the clear moral failings of who he is, there's an element of feeling bad for him. I can find if I think of it like a dementia old guy who's mostly confused and paranoid. I think he's trying when he talks like that. He's trying to hide the fact that he doesn't really understand things all that well. The fact that they have to make things in these big, easy to read charts for him. He probably has the same concept explained 8 times where people are like, no, we can't do that because remember, we're not allowed to go into that country until blah, blah, blah. And then we can't those problems he has to deal with are multi-layer, complicated
I would like
things.
to see.
Can't be understanding them.
I would like to see some sort of comparative chart of how many high post resignations he has had in the first couple of years of his presidency compared to others. Because it feels like, I don't know, is it just the media covering it more when somebody resigns? Because it feels like an awful lot of people.
The media can
It seems to
definitely
be the average. The average they're lasting is a year. At the
It
most,
seems way
whereas
more than I
usually
remember
they
in the
last
past.
throughout the term.
Yeah,
I'd
exactly.
have to look at the data to know.
So,
but
Colin Powell stepped down after Bush got reelected. Because he
right,
disagreed with
exactly.
Iraq. He didn't leave 6 months in because the guy was a maniac.
So, how much of that can Trump? I'm just trying to imagine, you say, metacognitively, getting into his head or what is in there, and think about to what extent is he aware of that fact that there's an awful lot of people who quit these positions that these are positions that would be
lies
at
to
the
himself about
pinnacle
what the
of your
reason is.
career, right? Where you become Secretary of State or something or whatever, and it's that's not something that you just quit willy-nilly after 6 months. That's something that
that's the peak of your career.
Exactly, yeah.
If it were Obama, people would probably be like, "Oh my God, I got picked for this dream job," But under Trump, people are like, "I'm not going to be part of this."
So do you think
when the ship goes down?
Yeah. Do you think he's aware of that, or he thinks that obviously because the way he says it openly that people are lying. You know, the fake news media is
But
lying.
he's not wrong about fake news media. Like, there
and
is
people are
plenty of
against
fake
him.
news, and like depends what you want to call fake news. But let's take the border.
Yeah, but
thing.
he also calls real news fake news. He
I
calls
know that.
a lot
I know
of
that.
things
But
fake
I'm
news.
saying the fact that the media actually makes fake news, it's feeding into his ability to say fake news. As an example, the border where people, you know, all the video and the photographs of like the kids being sprayed as people were trying to cross the border by Border Patrol, like pepper spraying, right? If you just look up the stats of that, way more people were pepper sprayed under Obama, but nobody was down there taking pictures and reporting on it.
So you're saying you're pro pepper spray?
No, I'm just saying that's a reality
He's
of like
pro-Obama.
if you have a border, people with pepper spray, border patrol agents are protecting that border and keeping illegal people from trying to get in, hopping over the border or whatever I forget
Luke, the people aren't illegal. Their status here is, come on.
illegally trying to enter in a way that is against the laws of the place that they're trying to enter.
Yeah.
So like, is the debate about whether the border should just be totally open? Like, obviously this whole wall thing is bullshit, but like the fact that we should have a border and that countries exist and that in order for a country to exist, it must have a category where this is in the country and that's out of the country.
Well, I think
that's not an insane idea. That's just wanting a border.
I think the problem that you're identifying, this comes back to a lot that we've been discussing and that I said I think is important that, because I think you're right, this is still an issue in terms of like clear coverage of information and events. But
So they didn't tell. By the way, my point was they didn't tell a lie. They reported what happened. But
Right.
They misled the public to think this is so newsworthy because it never happens, but it happens all the time.
yeah, but I think as well, because I had a few, I even had because this was a big issue this year, particularly this last half of the year with like the migrant caravan and all that. I had a couple students who wrote their researched essays on immigration. And even just talking to them, because I'll sit down with my students and just discuss, okay, like, what are you trying to find out? Like, what are you trying to figure out? And what are you trying to say about that in terms of what should be done?
Like,
And-
were they just going for the easy
Well,
opinion
well,
paper?
some of them were genuinely curious because they said, I don't actually understand how this works because you read these articles on one side and it's so conflicting with what the other side's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other people who are going with the easy angle of just like, oh, you know, you should do all of this or all of that, like either one of those sides. But in talking to all of them, pretty much we were able to get to a place where, you know, we would look at, okay, like, well, what should actually be done different? You know, give me tangible, specific ideas and proposals and consequences of those.
Like, is your proposal that we just delete the border and it's just a free flow of people?
Well,
Or is
yeah,
it-
where do you start?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly what would you do in real reality? Not just complain about what reality is, but what would you do?
Yeah, so
I have an interesting ad hominem point to make.
it's pronounced onomatopoeia.
Yes, I have an interesting ad hominem
Yeah,
comment.
go for it.
How many like celebrities and famous people and politicians who openly oppose the border wall on, you know, liberal humanitarian grounds live in gated communities
Exactly.
or lock their doors at night? Or how many celebrities who are, I'm not saying I agree with this argument, but how many celebrities who are like vehemently, or politicians who are vehemently anti-gun ownership pay somebody that's like an ex-cop and licensed to carry a gun to protect them so
Right.
that they don't have to worry about their own protection?
If you step out one layer back and you say, okay, you're for open borders, so you want no borders. What about the
So
border
can I come
between
in?
the outside
Can I come
and
to your house? Can I come over for
Why don't
some
you
soda?
open your doors? Why don't you take in a Syrian
Yeah.
refugee family? Oh, well, that's not, I'm just saying, like, but what are you saying? Do you want categories to exist, or are you against categories? Oh, well, like, male and female are totally made up
Oh, whoa.
categories. It's like, no, I mean, that's just another form. Why do you think conservatives tend to fall on the side of, like, keeping those categories very distinct, and liberals tend to want to blur the lines between categories? Conservatives are more
'Cause God don't make no
categorically
junk.
like thinking, right? They like rules and categories and conserving like the sort of structures of how we think, whereas liberals tend to be more open and want to see the connection between things and be like, wait, are those really distinct categories? Aren't they just one sliding scale of everything? And borders are no different. It's like a country is a distinct category with an exact border. But then if you want to blur that border and be like, we just have to help everyone, it's all humans. It's like, yeah, I agree with you, but do you think we actually could feed the entire world? Like, at what point, like, you know, these are the real questions that are a layer back from, should we build a wall?
Yeah, and those are the real questions we should be asking. Like I said, I mean, I had conversations with students this past year about exactly that, and some of whom were immigrants, and they were like, yeah, clearly you can't just allow anybody to come into the country.
Yeah.
They're like, but there's obviously problems with it, and certain solutions that are much more reasonable than just putting up a fucking wall across the desert. And I said, yeah, I agree. So like, what are those? Like, let's, research how to actually do that. So my point being that
drones.
Yeah, if you actually do the work and do the research, which again, that's sort of still the problem in terms of this learning curve that we've been talking about of, just people spreading and or sharing and spreading otherwise bullshit. I think that's something that I want to keep trying to proliferate in 2019.
Yeah. Do you want to be part of the noise and part of the problem, or do you want to step back, try to add some camping and decamping metacognition into your repertoire?
Yeah.
And kind of notice when somebody's going to be assuming what you think,
Yeah.
and not say the predictable thing they expect that will fuel the political whatever.
Yeah, I think there's too much still, and I think it's something that like, of course, it comes back to like ideas of tribalism and stuff, and the camping where people they go in already on the attack, already on the defensive.
They have a preformed response to what they expect a preformed answer to be.
Yeah,
and a lot of times that's true, right? You can tell when someone's having original thoughts because they absorb what you said, and then they recreate a new sentence. It's not just a preformed talking point,
Mm-hmm.
You can tell when someone's genuinely thinking in front of you versus when they're figuring out, how can I find an excuse to land on my preformed like punchline,
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just trying to get to that point that you are not going to change your mind on.
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem.
All right, new podcast technique. It's called the Luke 180.
Say that.
Did you hear China is making an artificial moon?
You mean the Death Star?
So it's going to be.
That's no moon.
It's going to be over the.
Thank you, Johnny.
It's going to be over the Chinese city called Chengdu, or maybe Yendu. I don't know how to say it. But it's going to illuminate a 50 square mile area above this city. It's 8 times brighter than the full moon.
This sounds like a James Bond
They
plot.
want to just like make it safer or something, and also. I didn't even know
this
that
is
the
slightly
Russians...
cheaper than putting in a million streetlights.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
just have one
you just put like a
light
giant-
It's
bulb.
going to be in space. It's going to be like a geostationary mirror.
How big would that mirror have to be?
I don't know, but apparently the Russians tried some space mirrors in the 90s and failed at it.
That sounds about
They've
right.
talked about that. They've talked about that for a while, using mirrors to like redirect the sun so that you can control the climate and stuff. So you can heat up and cool down certain parts, and like you could dry out areas if there's too much water.
Yeah, you could laser fry your enemies.
Now, this moon doesn't exist. This
you
just
could grow
exists in
crops
plans, right? But like, of course, people are saying you're going to fuck with a bunch of animals who rely on the cycle of the moon and moonlight for
screw
what
them.
the fuck to do and like how to mate and all that.
What
shit.
have they done for me lately?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Like
You
pollinate your crops?
You kill off a certain insect, and then all of a sudden the crops don't grow, and then all of a sudden you don't eat. And then,
Luke,
you get the idea.
Luke, you idiot! You just put another
but
moon
it's
up.
bright out.
Luke, just put another moon up.
Yeah, then we just put a moon up that you
second
grow
moon.
bean sprouts on, Luke. Come on.
Yeah, and you grow bean sprouts on it, and then you climb up, and you fight the giant. You get the pot of gold. What don't you understand?
And then you get Majora's Mask on the 3rd day.
Yeah,
and
what
then
don't you
win.
understand? Oh, he didn't play video games growing up. That's why. Yeah, that's why
okay.
he has.
That's why he's more scared.
That's why he has
I
actual
mean, like,
ideas.
Full moons are great, right? Like, I love when you go out in your yard at night during a full moon and you can kind of see shit. It's pretty cool.
8 times brighter would be blinding.
I
You
remember
couldn't
one
look at
night
it.
there was a full moon light coming in the window, and I had a prism that was sitting above the sink.
It's
and I
pronounced
put
prism.
the moonlight through the prism to try and see if I could get it to like make a rainbow. I think it kind of did, but it was just so dim you could barely see it. Because I was tripping out on the fact that moonlight has traveled like almost 100 million miles to get from the sun to the moon, bounced off the moon, and then comes back and hits your eye. Like, it just tripped me out a little bit. All right, another 180. An Australian teenager swallowed a slug as a dare.
Oh, I saw
Ended
that
up
video.
getting paralyzed, brain damage, and eventually died about 10 years later. He had like a rat lungworm parasite that
In his brain.
got into his brain from
Yeah.
eating this slug.
Yeah, on a dare.
He did it when he was about 20, and I think he just died this year at 28.
Wow.
Wow, this is another reason that I won't go to Australia.
Don't eat slugs, kids.
I was going to say, it's more of a reason not to eat slugs. It's, like...
Yeah.
I think the idea is...
Well, they say 13 slugs a year crawl down your throat while you're sleeping. Dude. I've heard that on the internet.
I know the spider one is true, probably, because
No, it's not. There's no way to check that. It's a totally made up number. No one's being force fed. No spiders are like
what's the
lemons
control
just
group?
crawl down your throat on such a high.
No, the idea is they're near your mouth and you just go like nom nom them and you slap it and like eat
Like
it.
a frog?
7 billion people
Like a
on the
frog.
planet.
Oh my god, you do have the frog suit.
Oh, shit.
Don't sleep in the frog suit, Luke.
Bianca actually asked me the other day. It was like Christmas Eve.
like I
We
eat
had our
insects
tree
all the
lit up. By the way, check out our Instagram. I made a beer can.
It's pretty beautiful.
She was like, "Oh, I have my panda like pajama suit. Like, why don't you put your frog suit on? We'll be all cuddly next to the Christmas tree." I was like, first off, I don't have it with me. It's at studio.
Bro, she wants to furry you.
And also, I don't think we should both dress up in animal costumes because, like, what if shit takes a weird turn,
dude?
And like, I'm hopping. Anyways,
what if I want to? What if I want to just hop right in? You know,
You're scared you might like it, is what you're saying.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to find out.
I think that means you should try it then. Don't live a life of regrets, Luke. And please bring it to the cast.
Yeah.
If you do.
I mean, I've always promised our Patreon subscribers that if I do like frog porn, they'll be the first to find out about it.
Oh god,
Because we care about you.
You realize what you just said is why we have a frog suit in the studio right now.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
So, do you guys know what like the bee acupuncture is?
The bee acupuncture?
Apparently, there's a type of acupuncture where
Oh god, I just
they
realized
hold
what you
bees in
mean.
these little tweezers, and they have bees sting you.
No,
Don't the
why?
bees die then?
No, they're the honeybees that just can keep stinging.
Oh, why?
So,
Is
a
this
woman
real?
in Spain died from bee acupuncture session. The clinic, she had an allergic reaction. The clinic doesn't even have epinephrine around. They're a clinic that specializes in holding little bees and stinging people around their body, and they don't even have epinephrine in case somebody has an allergic reaction.
I have no sympathy. I've gotten acupuncture done. I actually
Not from bees though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
clinic is a strong word, Luke, for whatever they're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a fan of acupuncture, but that I have no sympathy for. That's just nonsense. That's insanity.
Well, I mean, the woman died, so she can't even sue them. But I'm sure she signed whatever paperwork that would say, like, don't come to us when the bee stingings kill you.
I don't think anybody should go there.
Me neither.
Are we doing another 180?
Yeah, another 180.
You realize you keep turning back to the same
You're
place,
at
Luke.
you're at like 540 now.
Yeah,
Well, if I keep spinning around, I'm just getting more delirious.
that's true. He's getting dizzy.
sounds
All right,
right.
keep going. Keep going.
So apparently crows bang their dead friends.
I believe that.
So crows are pretty intelligent. They have the intelligence of about an 8-year-old.
How do you know that?
And they can show like when a crow dies, like in a clique of crows, whatever the fuck they're called, the murder of crows, right?
Because they
Murder of crows.
killed the dead one.
So they
and then
actually
banged his
show
body,
some
apparently.
mourning, like they
Jesus.
go over and they kind of like stick around the dead body and they're curious about it. But they also occasionally will have like a crow orgy with like 3 alive crows and the 1 dead crow. It's really weird. I'll link a video.
Wait, is it like a part of a funeral ceremony?
It's sort of like part of their mourning. Usually they don't do this, but like maybe like 1 out of every 10 times, one of the crows will get an erection and start banging the dead crow.
I have no follow-up
I just wanted
questions.
to know your guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah, Johnny? Even Johnny's
We could talk about Syria, but I'm talking about crow banging.
that's true.
No, I found much more disturbing news, or much more interesting news. I think it just got posted. I should bring to the cast is Macaulay Culkin has legally changed his middle name to Macaulay Culkin, so his name is now Macaulay Culkin.
What?
Because of a Twitter poll he ran,
Oh
and
my
that was
God.
the winner.
And he legally changed
So,
it.
That's us going into 2019.
Wow.
I think that's a good...
And Joe, I have a gift for you. I sent a YouTube video to the chat.
Oh, boy.
I want you to look at it,
Oh, boy.
and we should post it because I just want to show you how all your hard beach cleaning has been paying off.
That sounds. I don't know what that
send
is.
like
but
a big garbage patch video or something.
It's worse. There was a flood in Port-au-Prince earlier this year in Haiti,
Yeah.
and just look at it. It's like it looks like it doesn't look like water. It's just so much garbage being ran off.
Well, I think
But
there's something deep there.
check it out.
I told Joe as I was helping him pick up garbage on the beach that this is like his Sisyphus like metaphor.
Yeah.
Because like no matter how much garbage you pick up, there's always the same amount of garbage left.
No, it's worse. The hill gets taller every time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I
hill's
mean.
growing.
I mean, maybe you're not. It's possible that not only are you not making a dent, but that every day there's
You're losing
more
ground.
garbage added than you pick up.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
at the same time, the deep meaning is like, yet I'll still do it. Right?
Yep.
Like the Sisyphus thing, it's like, oh, you'll never get this rock to the top. It's like, well, I'd rather push it than
Yeah.
do nothing else.
You know what
Yeah,
it
it
is?
holds up that way. But
Yeah. Yep.
But also, like, you're wasting your time, you jackass.
totally waste time.
Hey, I like eating fish.
No, I'm
man.
for it. I'm really for it because, like, I love that Sisyphus thing. That this Navy SEAL Jocko Willink has a really powerful video where he's talking about Sisyphus and like every day getting in the grind, getting up at 4 a.m. and pushing that rock with everything you have. And he goes, "If I got it to the top, if one day I found myself at the top, I'd kick the fucking rock down myself and start
awesome.
over." You know? And I
That's awesome.
watch that video before I go to the gym. I'm just like, yeah, getting crazy today. Woo!
See, I should show that before beach clean. Let's get some trash.
Seriously. Like, I think you should make, like, a Sisyphus beach cleaning video. It can be, like, tongue-in-cheek where we, like, dramatize it and we show you, like, lonely, just walking along the beach picking up garbage. And then, like, I'm walking ahead of you dropping garbage. Like,
That's actually pretty good. I like that. I did have a moment earlier this year where somebody left a footstool, like an office footstool on the beach. And I got so mad because it was too heavy to carry.
Yeah.
Because I always had garbage with me. So I left it there. I'm like, somebody will pick it up eventually. It was there all summer. So finally at the end of the summer, I took it. And I would just... I had my bags with me, so I would hammer toss it like
as far as you
15,
can, and then
20
catch up
feet
to
at a
it.
time and then catch up to it and hammer tossing it. So I was just this lunatic.
You probably killed some
On
of the
the beach.
insects, you murderous
Yeah, with garbage,
monster.
with 2 garbage bags over my back, just hammer tossing this footstool down the beach.
You know, Joe, at that point, that stool is part of the ecosystem. Why are you disturbing it?
That's a good question.
Yeah. All right, so though I have to do my one science thing of 2018, like the biggest science discovery.
Oh, man. I didn't let me get to my would you rather. All right. Well, they beat me to it. I'm going to save it for the end of next year then. This is their fault. You guys are getting punished. I had a good would you rather. And now we have to wait a whole year till we do another year in review. So I hope you jackasses are happy with yourselves for winning the hang-up game. But yeah, thanks for listening and listening along this year. Hopefully we got better at this, and hopefully your standards went down a little bit so we can meet somewhere in the middle. I know mine probably will going into next year because, come on, we're screwed. But thanks for listening, and hear what these idiots have to say now. Okay.
That was too easy.
I feel bad. I feel dirty.
Well, he won the past, like, quite a few,
That's
right?
true, yeah.
I think we got him mid-yawn, too.
He, you know what was funny about that? I was like, we should like have our wrap up of what we expect in 2019, like something nice. And then he yawned.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to hang up on him, but then he yawned and I was like, he's got to get hung
Yeah.
up on.
Also, he always wins because we sit like 5 feet away from a computer
Yeah.
and he's right there. So, anyways, it's good to win. It's good to be back on top.
Winning.
I will say this quick thing because it was pretty fucking crazy, but this thing called dark electromagnetism.
Oh,
It's like
God.
a proposed new fundamental
Oh,
force.
God.
So
I like how they just had dark in front of things now, scientific
well,
concepts
dark
now that
matter,
they
dark
don't-
energy. They're trying to figure out what the fuck.
Yeah,
these
they don't
things
understand.
are.
Yeah, it's like
dark matter. It
you can't see or measure it, so
well, you can measure its effect gravitationally on things around it, but
Right.
it's not. It might not even be matter. It's just a placeholder for like an unknown
Right. Yeah.
phenomena in the universe.
Yeah.
So dark electromagnetism. Basically, they're going to throw a bunch of positrons at a diamond. and
Oh,
see
that-
if
how
they
can that go
produce
wrong?
A dark photon.
Oh, how
so, like,
can that go wrong?
Matter, antimatter.
Yeah.
So, like, a dark photon would be like the antimatter version of a photon or something. I have no fucking idea. But they won't be able to detect it. But what they will be able
Mm.
to do is see that there's a missing photon. So normally, if you throw, you
Okay.
know, something and you see what comes out, you'll see like one regular photon and then like a mysteriously not existent photon, which would be the dark photon. Some shit like that.
yin and yang.
So I'm
tons.
kind of hopeful that there are people in the world that are not going up and down on the political bullshit waves, and they're just kind of chasing after the fundamental forces of nature.
You're like, speaking of, you're like bouncing around as the photon.
Yeah, I'm not even spinning right now. Like, it's not 180ing. It's just like photon bouncing.
Well, I guess because Johnny's probably going to wrap up what he thinks of 2018 and what he thinks looking forward. So I'll just say as a final piece, you know, I mean, we pretty much said everything in terms of how I feel, I think. But I'm looking forward to 2019. I think just to wrap up the political stuff, I would say I really hope Democrats get serious because they're going to need to pick somebody real soon to challenge Trump. So
maybe the Republicans will primary Trump, though.
Trump might be.
He might be impeached.
Who knows?
Anything could happen in 2019.
My prediction is that stuff's going to go down in February once the new House comes in. Once that they settle in, I think stuff's going to happen. I mean, who knows though? But I would say
a lot of potential for good, but there's also a lot of potential for us to keep going in the wrong direction.
Yep, I agree.
Keep a cool head, I would say.
Yeah,
and it starts at each of us. Not like the government's not going to tell us what to do. Like we have to, as people individually, start doing the right thing to keep this
and the place to start is coming out for our local beach cleans.
Have you heard of this quote? I love it. It says, "Aim at heaven, start at home."
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I think he said it was a Muslim like philosopher quote or something like that. But it was something along the lines of, I forget, it was a much better sounding quote than this, but it was basically along the lines of make your bed every morning.
Yeah.
Because you're starting with one thing that you can control when you start your day.
Something disciplined that's going to set the tempo for
the tone,
day.
Yeah. So, yeah.
A similar thing, I remember there was like some army unit that was like stuck somewhere, and they were just trying to keep their wits about them and not become totally like crazy and kill each other and eat each other in the wilderness.
As one does.
But I think they ended up doing something like that. But when they were asked, like, what was the turning point where people started like losing their civility and all that, and they said it was when they stopped shaving.
Huh.
Like, that was just the click that made people more animalistic. Like, this discipline thing that they did as soldiers every day.
Right, yeah.
They stopped doing that, and that was the slippery slope down into hell for that group, you know?
So it doesn't necessarily matter what the catalyst is, but it is out there.
Yeah, it's the little things. So the phrase
That's
aim at heaven means, like, have a sense of good for yourself, like your own personal heaven.
Right.
Aim at it. But you have to start with what's right in front of you.
In order to enforce that, yeah.
Don't try and fix the United States of America with its 350 million people.
Well,
fix your marriage, fix your home, make your bed, like these kinds of things.
Yeah, and so we've talked a lot about this, and that ties into, I think, what we've been trying to say all episode, which is this idea that, yes, okay, there are large issues, and they should be talked about, and they should be raised awareness about, but, you know, you have to actually do stuff yourself, too. And this is what I've said, you know, before you came beach cleaning with me the other day.
Because now I'm better than people,
Because you're better than people now.
No, I really feel it. Like,
no, you could tell, right?
It's palpable.
But, and we were talking about this, how like a family came up to me and they were like thanking me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you know, it's easy. You just take a bag and pick stuff up.
And when it's filled up, you leave.
Yeah, you just go. It's, you know, you're already there. So, my point is, I don't think people are as powerless as they think on an individual local level too.
I mean, I'm happy to like help with this beach cleaning thing more, because I actually do like the model of it. It's like, even if you're not affecting things globally, might as well do something good than sit on your ass and do nothing
and feel depressed because the new Netflix show that came out, I don't like it.
Season 5 of House of Cards, for example.
It sucked. And
don't watch that. Go clean something at the beach.
It sucked. And Trump, and then Obama, and it's like, you're
we need less of that energy.
Yeah.
We need more of the, like, okay, how do we start fixing this problem? It's start locally, start at home.
It doesn't have to be beach clean.
Don't even talk about, I don't mean locally in terms of politics.
No. Yep.
I mean, sort your own brain out in 2019. If all of 350 million people in America did a better job of sorting their own mind out, we wouldn't be yelling at each other so much.
I agree. So I think there's room for that, and there's opportunity for that. So that's what I'm hopeful for.
Cool. I'm down with that. Also, like, it's kind of fucked, though.
Oh, very. But that's why I think this is so important.
I'm really straining to, like, give my hopeful, optimistic version, because, like, that's, like, 50% of my brain is like, yeah, like, I'll go ahead and believe this, like, do some good, aim at heaven, start at home idea. Yeah. But the other, like, 49%, you know, or 50%, like it
we're screwed.
Changes. Sometimes if I don't have coffee, it falls the wrong way.
Right.
It's just complete despair and just like, we're screwed. Why nothing matters? You know, just nihilism. You know.
Yep. But remember, the alternative isn't great.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like the old thing. It's like, well, you're definitely alive now, so you might as well like try to do something cool.
Exactly.
And then if you die, you die. You were going to die anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You might as well feel good about having tried.
Yeah.
I feel better about having tried.
Right. I mean, we are better people because we clean the beach.
You can do that now.
Wait, they already heard Johnny, right? We get to go last.
They heard Johnny ranting about I was good. I was just about to wrap up, and you know they did it too early. They always do it too early.
I don't clean the beach because I can't find any beaches around me.
I looked
don't
everywhere.
live near a beach.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to drive 2 hours?
Go to a lake. Like, what the fuck?
Well, that's my point. You don't just have to. You can pick up garbage anywhere. You can recycle garbage. You can volunteer in other ways. You know, to like help your community or whatever. There's no shortage of places that need volunteers.
Like,
and stuff.
it doesn't even have to be going to a soup kitchen. Like the whole idea.
But it could be that. It could be
just
anything.
be like, you know, I don't know, you know, getting one small aspect of your life slightly better. Because the whole point of the make your bed thing or the shaving thing with the soldiers is like momentum picks up when you start doing little good things. You know?
Snowball.
It's snowball effects. But, you know, speaking of snowballs, global warming's not real. So, boom.
Oh, yeah. Like, share, and subscribe.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
So, check out
2018. 1 year of Thunk Tank.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. Check us out on YouTube as well. We got more stuff coming out on there. And
hashtag CoffeeCast. You didn't have any beer. It's shocking.
I know. Weird for your new review, but it's probably for the best. We will have much more beer and some great episodes coming up for 2019.
Yeah.
Lot more interviews. If you'd like,
we already have like 2 or 3 in the
in the tank.
In the tank.
Yeah, if you'd like us to
around, so
if you want us to cover anything, let us know. Hit us up on the Twitter, the Instagram, the YouTube, Thunk Tank Podcast. We're on all of those.
We do a lot of shit on Instagram with just beer pictures. That's about it. I was thinking, what else do we put on there? I was like, nope, that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, and see you all in 2019.
Peace.
Later.